When people think of childhood trauma, they imagine things that happened: the yelling, the hitting, the moments that left visible marks. But there is another wound, one defined not by what occurred, but by what never did. No one held you when you cried without understanding why. No one sat with you long enough to ask what you were feeling and actually waited for the answer. No one reflected your emotions back to you, so you could learn they were real. That absence leaves no scar you can see. It leaves something harder to find, harder to name. And the children who grow up in that quiet neglect don't usually realize anything is wrong. They adapt. They build habits that look like strengths from the outside: maturity, independence, incredible thoughtfulness. They carry those habits into adulthood, never connecting them to what they truly are. Survival strategies for a child who had to learn how to need less. Here are 5 normal habits that are actually signs that absence was louder than you remember. The first habit: you never ask for help. Society praises this as self-sufficiency. You're the one who handles a crisis alone, who refuses to admit you can't manage something by yourself. From the inside, it isn't strength, it's a fortress. When a child reaches out and consistently meets indifference or irritation, their brain quietly calculates that asking leads to rejection. So they become their own source of everything. That self-sufficiency isn't capability. It's protection against the specific pain of needing something and being left to need it alone. The fortress keeps you safe, but it also keeps everyone out. The second habit: you don't know what you're feeling. Someone asks how you feel about something, and your mind goes blank, not because you're evasive, but because you genuinely don't know. In a healthy childhood, parents act as emotional mirrors, connecting physical sensations to words. You're frustrated because that didn't work. When that mirroring never happened, feelings went unnamed and unacknowledged. So you learn to mute your inner world. As an adult, you live at a slight remove from yourself, watching others seem deeply connected to their passions and pain, wondering what that feels like from the inside. The third habit: you overexplain everything. You're 5 minutes late and give a 3-minute account of exactly why. You justify every choice as if someone demanded a defense. This isn't conscientiousness. It's the residue of an environment where your needs and preferences weren't inherently respected. You learned that wanting something required justification, that making a mistake required a case. So you pre-defend yourself, constructing airtight arguments before anyone can question you. You're not explaining yourself to the person in front of you. You're explaining to a ghost from your past who never gave you permission to simply exist without earning it through logic. The fourth habit: you apologize for taking up space. You say sorry when someone bumps into you. Sorry for asking a question. Sorry for your home not being perfect before a guest arrives. This is not politeness. It's what happens when a child internalizes that their presence is an imposition. If the adults around you were perpetually exhausted, disengaged, or uninterested, you learn to shrink, to require as little space as possible. Every "I'm sorry" is a small version of the same sentence. I'm sorry for needing anything. I'm sorry for being here. It's the voice of a child taught that their needs came second to everyone else's comfort. The fifth habit: you become a different person depending on who you're with. You read a room perfectly, sensing a mood shift before the person feeling it does. You adjust your tone, opinions, even your personality to match whoever you're around. From the outside, this looks like social intelligence. In reality, it's hypervigilance wearing the costume of charm. When your home didn't provide a stable emotional baseline, You became an expert at monitoring the adults, out of necessity, to know if it was safe. You became a mirror, because having a solid self didn't feel like an option. Now, in quiet moments alone, a question surfaces. Who am I when no one is watching? If you recognize yourself in these habits, know this: there is nothing wrong with you. Your brain did exactly what it was designed to do. It adapted, built tools to keep you functional in an environment that asked too much of a child. These habits are not flaws. They're survival gear that got you here. But they were built for a world that no longer exists. Healing begins with almost invisible steps. Letting someone help you carry something, waiting 5 seconds before apologizing for something that wasn't your fault, stating a small preference out loud. That armor kept you safe when you had no other option. You're allowed to thank it, and then you're allowed to put it down. You were never too much. You were a child who deserved to be noticed, and you still do.